take a look at the highlights of this game, and we've got 14 goals to get into the highlights package, so might be one of our longer ones from across our coverage of these 48 matches in this tournament. Zarate made it 1-0 in the 3rd minute. Francisco Ruiz with a deflected goal to make it 2-0 there in the 10th. That became 3-0 through Lautaro Domene in the 12th minute at the end of the 1st quarter. In the 2nd quarter, goal from Capurro made it 4-0. Scoop in from Franco Agostini made it 5-0 in the 25th minute. Egypt did have 5 penalty corner chances across the match, but couldn't really force any significant goal chances with any of them. The goals just kept coming for Argentina. Very rarely finding their way into Argentinian territory, not forcing a save of significance from it, either of the two keepers, Agustin Cabana or Juan Hernando. Ignacio Nardulilo made it 6-0 there early in the 3rd quarter, and 6-0 became 7-0 off the reverse stick of Capurro there. Really was a goal avalanche. It's a rare chance where Argentina missed out. The yellow cards didn't help. One from Mohamed Hosni there, one of 2 that Egypt picked up. Bautista Capurro made it 7-0 at the back end of the 3rd quarter. And then, as the Egyptian players tired, having chased shadows for a lot of this match, they doubled their goal tally in the last quarter of the match. It went from 3 quarters in at 7-0 to 14-0. Easy stroke goal there from Mauro Zarate to Facundo Zarate, I beg your pardon, to round up his hat-trick. Bruno Stellato scoring there, Joaquin Toscani with a lovely run and an even better finish into the far top corner. Right down, penalty corner. Nicely done by Lautaro Domene for his 2nd, and then Zarate with a penalty stroke, getting a hat-trick, and Argentina winning by 14 goals to 0.
Third in their goal. Stoic throughout. Jarvis missed with that upright reverse. Ramundo breaking through, and the save came. Idris Abdullah opened the scoring in fantastic fashion, right, with the assist for him. But there was still a lot to do. Idris Abdullah nearly squeezed one home, but it was disallowed. 3rd equal to that one. Try that time, couldn't collect the ball. Africa's penalty corner defensive unit stood strong. And Morgan had a very good game indeed, and then Peter Jarvis just getting in front of his player, his marker, and touching it home. Chile's penalty corners weren't firing. Then they did. Amoruso on 38 minutes. Nothing Morgan could do than look on there. Le Forestier diving in as Morgan delivered. Another penalty corner coming, and it would be Tonda's turn. Straight down the middle, high, powerful, delivered past Hernandez with some skill. That one missed high and wide from Guy Morgan. Babani then found Le Forestier, who got on his nose and made it 5-1 and sealed the 3 points for South Africa here in Bhubaneswar, Odisha.
take a look back at the highlights. No shortage of goals to try and fit into them. Superb drag flicking from Yun Sung Yong. They only had 4 penalty corners career, but they scored 3 of them thanks to his efforts. Schroten made it 1-1. This was one of the goals of the tournament. Marsbukens with the clever scoop over the keeper's head. It's 2-2 though soon after at the end of the first quarter. Sung Yong again for the Koreans. The second quarter, I should say, was where the Dutch really took control. Marsbukens making it 3-2. Casper van der Veen made it 4-2. And Olivier Hortensius with a good clean reverse finish. Made it 5-2. And it was 6-2 before the quarter was done. Casper van der Veen in the right place at the right time again. And in the third quarter, Brent van Been actually was to make it 7-2 with that bizarre goal. Never quite know what was going on with the goalkeeping. It became 8-2 thanks to Marsbukens. Chance missed here as Sheldon Schroten's penalty stroke hit the post. And this goalmouth scramble to another. Fine individual goal there from Yun Sung Yong. Sung Ho Yo, I beg your pardon, to make it 8-3. And at the start of the fourth quarter, they did make it 8-4 when Yun Sung Yong grabbed his hat-trick with another penalty corner goal. That became 9-4 when Van Benen went round the keeper and scored. Casper van der Veen took the Dutch into double digits here. In the right place at the right time. It's 10-5 when Nyo Kim finished neatly on the turn. He was slipping over. And Marsbukens finished the game up with a pair of goals. That tap-in set up by Minna Boren. Penalty corner goal of the highest quality. So Marsbuken finishes with 5 goals to his name.
The highlights of this game. It was all about Pakistan's dominance, their circle entries, their possession, created multiple set play opportunities. And all of the high possession and the chances, lovely flip ball through. In the early exchange of the first quarter, it wasn't particularly accurate from Pakistan, but then it just started to open up and there were saves galore from Mahmood Salim. Penalty corner save and then getting across on the rebound, for example. His defence working around his shoulders. But Pakistan with high possession, slide balls in and deflections and tip-ins, backhand and forehand. And Egypt really were struggling at times. And that was the first goal for Rizwan. High to the goalkeeper's right, top left, as he looks dragged in long and whipped round his body. Hip rotation creating the power. But then Egypt got themselves on the scoreboard. A rare opportunity into the Pakistan circle. Half a touch falling kindly. And he created a clever penalty corner that was saved on the line by the hat-trick of Rizwan. Sorry, the hat-trick player, Rizwan. He then got his second with an absolute beautifully executed flick, dragged in and flicked high to the goalkeeper's top left. Pretty much unstoppable off the angles that he had. Baseline play. Salim again called into action. Double save, and it was the second and third phase saves that he made that were so impressive. This one, there was a hint of deliberate obstruction in there, but the penalty corner was given nothing more. Rizwan in, went high but wide. Then a missed trap. Double figures on the penalty corner count for Pakistan. They should have done better. So many opportunities, that one flashing wide of the left-hand post. But then Rizwan gets his third, driven low past Salim's right hand. And that was pretty much the death knell for Egypt. They did create occasional opportunities. That one with just a few moments to go, you thought really needed to have gone in. That's a replay of the third goal that we have talked about. This one, I think, goes high and Salim gets an extended left hand. All of the opportunities There's the confirmation of the scoreline. It was a hat-trick for Rizwan. 3 set plays delivered on the spot by Moen from the injection. Stopped cleanly for him to allow him to get his shots away. Awad with just the one Egyptian goal to give us that 3-1 scoreline.
Popping the ball back to Uttam Singh, number 1. Popping the ball to Vivek, number 2. Vivek, full quality of an Olympic bronze medalist. Bird, picked off the line by number 47, Yashdeep. Meninda, again battling. Eventually, Sudeep would win. Penalty corner, very well done. Foom dropping him onto the turf. Sanjay onto the boot of the player on the line. And then squeezing it past Goodwin. That one not quite going the way of Gurmukh as he came in. Goodwin got a toe there. Meninda dancing, one-on-one, reverse stick. From creator to scorer. Then Dylan. Tardif got the touch. It was 4-1 at half-time, right on half-time. India came bouncing back. Sanjay, he's enjoying this competition. Sharda got in on the act with a couple himself. Then the sighter, Hundal, but Goodwin. Sharda straight down the middle. Hundal, high and hard past Goodwin. As he came to the party, missing that time. Uttam Singh scoring well. Dylan, his evening's work wasn't done. Then manufacturing the shot was Hundal, making space. And he squeezed his 3rd goal through Goodwin for his hat-trick. Sharda got himself on the score sheet yet again. Abhishek Lakra as India unrelenting. Sanjay with 2 hat-tricks in 2 days. India back to winning ways.
Take a look back at the full match highlights. It's a game that took a bit of time to open up. First quarter, only really one scoring chance of significance. It was when Dommerhausen's empty corner was stopped on the line by Vericat. And Sheldon Schroten scored the penalty stroke to make it 1-0 in the 9th minute. Asper van der Veen just couldn't quite force that one in. And then good keeping there from Luis Cansado, who was the busier of the 2 keepers, and ball was in his net when Bruce Janssen slid in to make it 2-0 in the 27th minute. At that point, Dutch were in control, and it was so nearly 3-0. Mars Bookens denied by a combination of the bar and the post here. He'd already started celebrating, and you can't really blame him for doing so. Just a minute later, Borja Locale brought Spain back into it, halving the deficit on the reverse in the 38th minute. And before the 3rd quarter was done, Spain were to be level. Good run there by Abayo. The penalty corner one there. And look at this from Pau Kuno. High to the keeper's right, nothing Flip Faceman could do about it. 2-2 then, right on the stroke of the 3rd quarter. That only gets better every time you see it. Unless you're Dutch, of course, but I'm sure you can appreciate the quality of the hockey on show from both sides. Spain could have won it there. Duala de Ignacio denied superbly by Vaisman, and the full value of that save was shown. Just a minute or so later, there was that great double save from Luis Calzado, but heartbreak for Spain as just a minute and a half or so for the hooter.
France dominated. We've got some highlights, and it is, as we said at halftime, no surprise that it's dominated by France. Multiple penalty corners during the course of the game. Exposed Canada both down the right side and the left side. Opportunities came pretty much at will. Penalty corners, the scoring was opened by Clement way back in the first quarter, and then multiple different players getting on the scoreboard from set plays and from open play. Coombs in goal was replaced late on by Daniel Goodwin, neither goalkeeper being able to really affect much because there were so many opportunities in front of them. France were able to rotate players. They got people not only on the ball with shooting opportunities, but talented players to feed the ball around. They worked from one end to the other. This was a prime example. Canada had just hit the middle of the post at the far end. It could have been, it was 2 inches away from being 2-1, and suddenly it was 3-0. That, for me, was the pick of the goal. Cellier with absolutely stunning individual skill and creativity to pop the ball over the advancing goalkeeper's shoulder. Another set play, this one for Igao, was the 5th, but it just kept coming. The overhead pass taken down by Igao, who was brilliant. Tried to fire it across for the deflection, and in the end it was Bournac who fired it in underneath the sprawling goalkeeper. Clement then finds the space to the goalkeeper's left. France, though, they just had a little bit more pace, a little bit more purpose about them. This was a beautiful backhand, high into the top corner of the goal from Noé Juin. A penalty corner from Verrier was the 9th. And at this point, it really did look like it was rolling away. There was then a tip-in as it was poached on the back post by Juin once again with a bottom edge. I think Bournac's goal touch was going in anyway. Canada did get on the score sheet. Davies diving in at the far post with some particularly poor French defence. And then to top it off, a hat-trick from the skipper, Clement, goal number 11. So there is confirmation of the full-time score. A hatful of different scorers for France as they run away with it, 11 goals to 1.